Lawrence Joel was born on George Washington's birthday in 1928. His parents were destitute, living in first one and then another shanty near the Norfolk and Western Railroad tracks in Winston-Salem. During his teens, he peddled firewood door to door and wrapped his feet in crocus sacks so he could walk along the tracks hunting for coal to warm his house. Because he had 9 brothers and sisters, a welfare worker took him to live with the Clayton Samuel family. He was 8 years old, barefooted and shirtless. At 10, he rode with Samuel on his wood, coal, and ice truck. His job was to clang the drum hanging from the side. He went to Atkins High School, where he made average grades, but he would often stay out of school because he didn't have clothes to wear. He wanted to travel, to get away from the slums and the near slums of East Winston-Salem. And travel he did. He joined the Merchant Marine at 17, and after a year he joined the Army on his birthday in 1946. He served with occupation forces in France, in Germany, and in Italy. He recalled seeing the ragged, hungry children in the days following World War II. In 1953, Joel attended airborne school, and he made his first jump at Fort Bragg. It was almost his last jump. He bumped against the plane in leaving it, and his jump master chewed him out for showing such lousy form. In 1964, he joined the 173rd Airborne. 5 months later, he was in Vietnam. He'd never treated any battle casualties, and he'd never seen any action. That was before November 8th, 1965. He tagged along with 3 squads of the 173rd Airborne that went in search of enemy Viet Cong in the jungles near Bien Hoa. His small American squad of approximately 100 men was ambushed by a Viet Cong force of 700 men. In short order, nearly every man in the lead American squad was wounded or killed. Joel, a medical specialist, was shot in the calf. He bandaged his own wound, injected himself with morphine to deaden the pain, and, within sight of the enemy, attended to his wounded comrades. In the midst of the firefight, Specialist 6 Joel shouted words of encouragement as he crawled through an intense hail of gunfire to the wounded men. Another machine gun bullet hit Joel in the thigh, but he continued to drag himself over the battlefield, treating 13 men before his medical supplies ran out. Then, completely ignoring the warnings of others and the pain of the bullet lodged in his leg, he refused to stop his search for wounded men and exposed himself to hostile fire. As bullets dug up the dirt around him, he held plasma bottles high while kneeling completely engrossed in his life-saving mission. "I found a stick on the ground with a little crook in it," he recalled. "I broke it about waist high and sort of cradled my arm in it so I could hobble around. That way I could make it from one man to the next, sort of fall down beside him, then pull myself up on a tree or something when I finished." Displaying resourcefulness, he saved the life of one man by placing a plastic bag over a severe chest wound to congeal the blood. After the firefight, which lasted nearly 24 hours, was over, Joel was hospitalized and shipped to Saigon and Tokyo to treat his wounds. Shortly after, he received the Silver Star for his actions. When he recovered, he returned to the battle zone, still limping, but saw no more action. On March 9th, 1967, on the White House lawn, President Lyndon Johnson presented Joel with the Medal of Honor, the military's highest award for his service in the Vietnam War. On April 8, 1967, Winston-Salem held a parade. It was the first time the city had ever held a military parade to recognize a single individual. It honored Lawrence Joel. He had grown up on the east side of the city, at the time a predominantly African-American section of Winston-Salem. The New York Times called it the biggest tribute the city had ever staged. Lawrence Joel retired from military service in 1973. On February 4, 1984, he passed away of complications from diabetes. He is buried in Arlington National Cemetery in Section 46, Lot 15-1, adjacent to the Memorial Amphitheater. The Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem bears his name, a Winston-Salem native and recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor.